types of magic is ritual magic and natural magic. Natural magic relies on the occult essence of a particular material in order to project a certain energy. Practitioners of natural magic often procure many strange herbs, stones, and may even require a substance derived from a dead animal. It is this type of magic that is commonly associated with witchcraft. The rituals of natural magic are minimalist and often involve no more labor than procuring rare substances and wishful thinking, literally. The texts of natural magic are often written after the fashion of a cookbook. Write the full name and birth date of your lover you desire on a pink candle. Light the candle and visualize them running into your arms over and over again. That's an oversimplified version of the kind of crap you'll find out there. Then there's ritual magic. No gem hunting, no herb gathering, no lizard eyes and cat's tongues, just bossing around spirits with my mind, my wand, and my words. For the remainder of this book, all of my references to magic will be to ritual magic specifically. The rituals of magic usually begin with a cleansing. Holy water and banishments comprise the most common ways in which cleansing of the ritual space is accomplished. The ritual space, the place you intend on doing a ritual, should be as clean and dark as possible. The room should be fragrant with a scent that corresponds to the type of energy you wish to summon. It is also important to note which walls are at what points of the compass, because what is done at one edge of the ritual space is usually done on all four sides: north, south, east, and west. A banishment is a small ritual where banishing pentagrams and/or banishing hexagrams are drawn at the four edges of the ritual space. The symbols the magician draws in the air are of course invisible and imaginary. Although it's just a rule of thumb, the banishing pentagram or hexagram is drawn counterclockwise, while its opposite, the invoking pentagram or hexagram, is drawn clockwise. Today, the most commonly used invoking and banishing pentagrams were those designed by Aleister Crowley. Why he decided on certain pentagram arrangements is truly baffling, and they are without the elegance of pattern. I despised having to memorize them, and I personally think that modern magicians should give those pentagram arrangements revision. A banishing symbol dispels a certain type of energy, while an invoking symbol activates a certain type of energy. It may be thought of as an on and off switch. To banish a certain energy is to turn it off, while invoking a particular energy turns it on. The purpose of a banishing at the beginning is to clean the area of all influences and make the ritual space spiritually neutral. For example, in order to activate the spirits of the realm Venus, one would draw a green hexagram facing all four directions, essentially enclosing your ritual space in imaginary green hexagrams. The hexagrams, being invoking hexagrams, should begin at the bottom right corner of the hexagram and move clockwise until the first triangle of the hexagram is drawn. From there, beginning at the opposite side of Venus, the point on the hexagram assigned to Mars, the second triangle is drawn, also in a clockwise fashion. And, being an odor of Venus, ideally the room should smell of rose. The spirits associated with the 7 planets are invoked and banished with the hexagram. For spirits of the 5 elements, the pentagram is used. Satanists tend to draw the pentagrams upside down, which is symbolic for the material element being higher than the element of spirit, which often represents God. It isn't uncommon for the names of power, such as the names of God, archangels, and angels, to be uttered while the symbols are drawn. Like in the middle pillar ritual in Chapter 2, these special names are often vibrated, rather than spoken in a plain manner. Although opening rituals can come loaded with needless pageantry, the core of the opening ritual is the invocation. Here, a distinction must be drawn, because the word invocation has 2 meanings in magic. The first is the activation of a certain type of energy, which is the case for the recently mentioned hexagrams and pentagrams. It is this type of invocation that the opening ritual contains. The second type of invocation is directing a spirit into the magician, allowing the spirit to, at least partially, possess the practitioner. After the invocation of the opening ritual, the magical program is now quote-unquote listening for instruction. At this point, the magician may choose one of many paths. He may decide to question the spirit by evoking it into visible form or into a mirror. To evoke a spirit is to draw it into the ritual space, but not into the bodies and minds of those present. The magician may choose for the spirit to execute a particular command. He also may decide to infuse the spirit into a talisman. A talisman, like a voodoo doll, is an object that has been assigned to and associated with the essence of a particular being or energy. And finally, he may choose to invoke the spirit into his body, allowing the spirit to communicate with and partially command the magician. After the magician is satisfied and his will is accomplished, he begins the ritual's closing ceremony. The closing ritual, like the opening ritual, may itself be weighty with pageantry, but the heart of the closing is the banishments. The banishing ritual, at the beginning of the entire ritual, banishes general influences, while the banishing ritual at the end banishes the specific force that was invoked or activated during the ritual. The major implements of ritual magic are relatively few, and even more impressive is the fact that they aren't truly necessary at all, with perhaps the exception of the scrying mirror. The main tools of the magician include the wand, the dagger or sword, the cup, the altar, and the scrying mirror. The first of these, the wand, is used to direct energy and draw invoking symbols in the air. The element associated with the wand is fire, and fire represents the spark of life. In other words, the ability to give life. The wand is a phallic symbol and represents the active force, the male's ability to jumpstart life. Fire, whose symbol is an upward pointing triangle, is also associated with the lion, the south, the color red, and Archangel Michael. Fire also represents the will or desire. The second main implement is the dagger or sword. The dagger represents the element of air and is used to draw banishing symbols in the air, as opposed to the wand, which invokes. Air represents the mind and intellect. Air, whose symbol is an upward pointing triangle with a horizontal line through its center, is also associated with an angel, the east, the color yellow, and the Archangel Raphael. And, as stated earlier, the dagger is used to threaten and punish disobedient spirits. The cup, or goblet, is associated with the element water. Water is symbolic for the passive force, the feminine quality of the womb, and its ability to bear life. Water is likewise symbolic for blood and, more specifically, the previously discussed life force. In magic, fire and water represent the polar opposites of male and female. Water, whose symbol is a downward pointing triangle, is also associated with the eagle, the west, the color blue, and the Archangel Gabriel. In magic, water corresponds to dreams, emotions, and psychic work. The last major magical tool is the scrying mirror. The scrying mirror is related to the moon, rather than one of the elements. Since a spirit can more easily reveal itself in a mirror, an object called a scrying mirror is used as a medium to communicate with spirits. Occultists have used everything from rare stones to bowls of water as scrying mirrors. But a scrying mirror, in its most basic form, is often just a piece of glass that has been painted black on one side. Sometimes the scrying mirror is used for astral travel. Other times it is used as a place for spirits, even the weaker ones, to reveal themselves and other visions to the magician. The scrying mirror is a magical television screen. A ritual tool of lesser importance, I think, is the pentacle. This is usually a wooden or clay disc, the size of a dinner plate, and has a pentagram drawn upon it. The pentacle is essentially a spiritual shield